This was the position in the game between Magnus Carlsen and Gukesh, played in the classical chess format of 2025 at Norway Chess. Magnus Carlsen played d5, a sharp move kicking away Gukesh's knight on e4. But Gukesh countered boldly. He captured the f6 pawn with his knight. Now Magnus strikes back, attacking the knight on f6, but Gukesh finds a brilliant tactical resource. He plays rook to f2, delivering a check to Carlsen's king on e2. Magnus calmly moves his king to e1. But now Gukesh unleashes a powerful attack on both the rook on f8 and the vulnerable pawn on e5. However, this is where Magnus blunders. He plays knight to e2, giving a check to Gukesh's king on g3, but this move is a fatal error. Magnus loses his knight. Let's break down the sequence. Rook takes e2 check, king takes e2, knight captures the rook on f8. Now Gukesh is up a piece, and his knight can control the dangerous passed pawns on d5 and e5 by maneuvering via e6, c5, and so on. Let's see Gukesh's winning sequence. Magnus pushes his pawn to d4, but Gukesh plays knight to e6. Magnus advances to d3. Gukesh replies with knight to c5. Magnus tries king e3, because pushing d2 and promoting to a queen is met by a deadly knight e4 fork, followed by knight c3. So instead, Magnus centralizes his king, but Gukesh finds a fantastic move, knight to a4, planning to control the d1 square with knight to b2. Magnus connects his pawns by playing e4. Gukesh calmly pushes h5. Magnus captures, but Gukesh recaptures the h5 pawn with confidence. Now Magnus plays king to d2, clearing the path for his e4 pawn to promote. But Gukesh executes his plan, knight to b2, eyeing critical squares. You might wonder, what if Magnus plays king to c2? Well, Gukesh would respond with knight to c4, threatening a decisive tactical sequence. If Magnus pushes d2, Gukesh's king approaches to attack the pawn and control the e3 square. Even if Magnus promotes to a queen, knight to a3 delivers a crushing fork. If Magnus captures on b3, knight to e3 still wins the game for Gukesh, supported by the passed h5 pawn. Now Magnus pushes a 3, but Gukesh checks with knight to c4. Magnus plays king to e2. Gukesh plays an exceptional move, king to f4, and with a bang on the table, Magnus resigns. What an absolute battle between the world chess champion and the rising star, Gukesh. Look at this final position. Gukesh's knight completely dominates Carlsen's passed pawns on d3 and e3. If Magnus plays d2, Gukesh simply captures e3 and also can control d-pawn from promotion. What a brilliant and unforgettable game.